guys, it's Sky bringing another video. I am so sorry guys. I know I continuously keep struggling on making my videos. I just really have been going through such an up and down time in my life the last couple weeks. It's been very difficult. There's been things that I've been dealing with personally that has made it really hard to be consistent. And then when I feel like I'm over something, something else happens. There's been a lot that's gone on this last week. I recently started dieting I want to say it's almost been 2 weeks now that I've been dieting, and I've been documenting my, progress on Facebook, with my post of my pictures on the scale and just the weight I've lost. Well, in the process, I've been really strict on myself, and, I done really good dieting, but I've been a little too strict on myself the past week. And, it got to a point on Thursday of last week where I had a softball game on Thursday. I've been doing pretty good at softball the last couple weeks. I've been more focused and motivated, and it's really paid off. I've made huge strides, and it's not only doing better, but it's understanding what was, making me really struggle. So I feel very good with that. So softball's been very positive. I didn't feel very good like in the middle of the game. I felt very weak and just fatigued, which for me was frustrating because I've been working hard and getting myself into shape. I felt really good lately, but I've been drained because of lack of energy, because I've really been I really don't have, the kind of financial, stability to be able to afford, eating healthy. And, it's something that's hard. So I've been limiting myself, my intake, and it's really honestly fatigued me. So on Thursday, after I got home from softball, I felt really sick, and on the way to the car, I was trying to hurry up and get home. I just felt it. I felt very nauseous, and what it was is just the combination of not eating much and taking my pain meds for my back because I have arthritis. So that really was not a very good mixture. And I got home and I got really sick. Went to the bathroom and just unfortunately I threw up, and I felt better, but I didn't want to risk it. So I, started eating some crackers, and, unfortunately the only thing I drink is water. So I didn't really have any 7-Up or Sprite to help, ease my stomach. So that was really difficult. And, I don't really tell people much. Like, my parents can notice that I was feeling good, and they're like, what's wrong, and they're like, you got to be careful. And I was like, I know, I just, I'm so motivated on dieting, get myself into shape. I sometimes give up things, and that's really been hard for me with the lack of energy. So, that's definitely been really frustrating on the whole Thursday. Like, I thought I felt better. I went back on stream that night. I didn't want to miss a day of streaming because it's so important to me. So I got on stream, and I felt okay at first. I was pushing through it, and then I started feeling nauseous again on stream. Like an hour in, I was just hurting, and I did not want to get off, but I just couldn't do it. Like, I was so out of it. So, I decided to get off stream like after an hour and a half, which was very frustrating for me. I don't like doing that. I take my streaming so seriously, but I felt so nauseous. So I got in bed and I just fell asleep. I put blankets over my head because I had not only a bad stomach ache, but I had a bad headache, and the mixture of the two was not good. It made me very nauseous. So I woke up in the middle of the night, and I went back to the bathroom. I was just throwing up all night. It was such a bad night, and I just felt so drained and so frustrated. Like, I'm just trying to find a balance between the two of eating enough to have energy, but to also, work on getting myself into better shape. So, that part's been very difficult, and there's just been a lot going on, and a lot has to do with my back. It's really gotten to a point where, my medication works, but I still feel so much. It's so frustrating and mentally draining to constantly, have aches, and it's really hurt, my positivity in a sense. So like I said, like I tell you guys, I keep getting over things, but then other things keep happening and my back's just really bothering me. I love sports and, it's so important to me, but it's at a cost and it's my own decision. So I can't complain, but, I'm really struggling because I want to get in shape and, I want to do exercises, but like when I do my stomach exercises, the next day my back hurts so bad. It's my lower back, and I have so much problems with it, and it's just so frustrating. It makes me so depressed. Injuries, and just every day waking up and knowing that it's never going to go away. Having arthritis is just something you have to deal with. It's frustrating at times because some people just don't understand the constant, annoyance of the pain and how much it can affect your happiness. I wake up and I just feel so drained, and sometimes it's hard to get out of bed. So Friday I felt really sick. I was eating crackers all day and just I was trying to get over it, and tell myself to stop being so stubborn, and maybe I don't make as fast of strides as I was before, but I need to really have enough energy throughout the day and just slowly lose weight and get into shape instead of being aggressive like I normally can do to prove a point, and just kind of make myself happy. So it's something I need to get over. I woke up on Friday, I was hurting, but my brother and his friend asked me if I could play in the softball tournament Saturday. They didn't have enough people, and, I tried to always help out. So I was like, you know what, I'll play. Again, it's my choice, but for me, I always try to be there for my team. And I know for those of you that have heard, I haven't been getting along with my brother. He has messaged me and has apologized, and he's really tried. So, and it's hard for me to stay mad at people, even when they hurt me, because I do care, and I don't like, really just being rude and being mean to people. So I have a very hard time, and sometimes I give in. So I said I would help. I woke up, I didn't stream. I only streamed for an hour Thursday night. And then Friday night, I didn't stream. For one, I didn't feel good. And two, I had to wake up early for the softball tournament, which was in Huntington Beach. So, I just decided to go to bed. So I woke up Saturday. I felt pretty good. I took a shower and I headed over to the tournament, which was in Huntington Beach. It was for my brother's all-men's team, and I said I'd play. So I ended up going out there. And the good thing was I was able to, hang around the people that are always supportive towards me. And I'm starting to become close with one of my really good friends. His girlfriend was playing on the team with the tournament with me. Me and her were the only girls out there. So I was excited because I had somebody, to hang out with. And we have been coming kind of closer and becoming friends. She's an awesome person. She treats me so good. So it was nice having her out there with me. And, I was excited about the tournament. I was excited about, really finally feeling appreciated out there in the tournament. So it was nice going back into center field and playing consistently. So my first game we haven't been doing good as a team. We're newer. This team's newer, so we don't really have the chemistry yet, and we haven't been doing good in previous tournaments. But in this tournament, on our first game, we were doing pretty good. We're at most of the tournament, but I was struggling. The pitcher we were going against, he kept pitching it short, and I was reaching for it, and I was just popping it up. So, I was really struggling, and, sometimes I get so mad at myself, and so upset that I don't stop to think, what I'm doing wrong. I was getting frustrated. I ended up going 0 for 4 the first game, but we end up winning. I think it was like 8-4. It was a low scoring game. It was the very first game out. There was like nine. It was at 9 in the morning, So I always, for the most part, struggle at early tournaments when we first starting. I just feel very stiff and just, I'm not relaxed yet. But I did play really good defense in center field, which I always usually do. I make mistakes here and there, but for the most part, I'm really consistent, in the outfield, and I do make a lot of good plays. And when I first started playing, I always thought that, my advantage was hitting. I was always a good hitter, but during the process of struggling, I've focused more on my defense, where I've become even a better defender, which is crazy for me because I've always still have been a good defender. So, I'm grateful for that, for improving the outfield, but it's been so frustrating, the last month with hitting. There was a period of time last year when, man, I was hitting 8 to 10 home runs a season, and I would say 10. I'm reaching 6 to 8 home runs a season. I was doing really good. One season I led the league in RBIs. I had like 30 some RBIs in the season in a 10-game season. So, there was a period, and I took that for granted. I thought that, that was just something that was going to happen all the time. And, I was humbled by struggling and just going through a drought of not knowing what I was doing wrong. I still am not the hitter I was a year ago. I went back to more of a line drive hitter and hitting on the ground. So that's really changed. I really don't hit for power that much anymore. I'll hit line drives and everything, but, they're more down. I don't have the same, swing as I had last season or last year. So, things have been struggling with softball, with, the pain in my back, and just everything right now is just really getting to me, and it's making things hard for me to stay, happy. There's so many things that, I just feel like I'm letting everyone down, whether it's at softball, whether it's at home, whether it's with my family, whether it's on stream, whether it's on YouTube, feeling I'm not reliable. There's so many things, and I'm so upset with myself, and I'm tired of hurting. I just mentally, things have not been the greatest, so it's been very difficult. But the second game, we had a game at 11. So we won our first game. We had a game at 11. And again, I could not hit, and I kept popping it up, and I was getting frustrated with myself, and I didn't know what to do. But I finally had a really good hit. They made an awesome stop at third, and I ran it out to first, but I was safe, and they ended up calling me out, and I got so frustrated. I usually don't say anything to the umpire ever. I don't even say anything to anybody ever. I'm really quiet when it comes to playing. And I was like, this is bullshit. I didn't mean to be like that, but I was just so frustrated with everything that's going on. And, going 0 for 6 and then getting called out at 0 for 7, was really frustrating. So I went 0 for 3 again. The first game I went 0 for 3. So I was 0 for 6. And we ended up getting mercied the second game, so we were 1-1. So I was really upset with myself, that I was hurting the team. And, I got mad. After that game, I was so frustrated with myself. I was like, what? I think this is my last tournament. And I've said that before, it just gets to a point. I don't like letting people down and feeling like that. Even though it's just a softball tournament, I feel like that. I feel like I'm letting my team down. I'm letting everyone down around me, and it's something that I really tell myself. I'm a positive person, but, I have my faults, and I have the things that really hurt me, and a lot of it's my emotions. I can either be really happy, but I can easily let things affect me. I've always been like that, and I care so much about people and for things that, it's easy for me to get hurt and for me to overthink things. I'm in my head a lot. I'm always overthinking everything and letting it get to me at times. So it's something that really affects me at, a point. So we had a 3-4 hour break before our first playoff game at 3 p.m. And, I went back to my car, and I was just sitting there so frustrated with myself. I see everybody else hanging out, having fun, talking. And, I push myself away from everyone. That's just how I am. I feel, I don't know. I just make myself alone. So I'm sitting in the car, and I see these two guys behind my car, and they're talking, and they kind of pointed. So I was like, oh, this is kind of weird. And I see this guy walking up to, the driver window, because I had it down. It was hot inside the car, but we were in Huntington Beach, so the breeze from from being by the beach and everything, it felt good. So I had the window rolled down, and I see him walk up, and he starts talking to me, and I got, just kind of caught me off guard. But in my head, I was like, this dude's really gonna, he's gonna hit on me. Like, I was at softball, like, for the most part, I kind of, I guess, make myself unreachable in a sense where people don't talk to me. I'm kind of quiet, and I guess people feel like they can't approach me. But he walked up to me, and he said this pickup line. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he's like, help me out here, okay? You're beautiful, and, I wanted to come. I walked by your car, and I saw you sitting in there, and I was like, I gotta talk to her. She's beautiful. So, he's like, so I came up to the car, I usually don't do this, but I had to talk to you. And then he was just talking to me, like, asking me things, what are you here doing? And I was like, oh, I'm playing softball. And he's like, you're here for softball? No way. And I was like, yeah, I play on my brother's team. He's, oh, that's crazy. And he's like, asking me things about the tournament. And I was like, no, I'm struggling. I'm not playing good. So I'm frustrated sitting in my car. So he was making me smile. I felt good. He made me feel very good. It's something small like that that really put a smile on my face, and it really changed my day. That point really turned my day around. Something that small. So, but in my head, when he's talking to me, I'm like, this isn't going to work out. He doesn't know about me. And for the most part, I knew it wasn't going to be something that was going to go anywhere. But he did. He said, can I give you my number? And I was like, yeah, of course. So he gave me his number, and he's like, please text me. And he's like, I hope you do, because I really want to talk to you. And I was like, yeah, I'll text you, of course. I'm not like that, And he's like, well, it's really nice to meet you. And like, when he shook my hand, you could just tell he like really was into me. But I just knew. So when he walked away, I got out of the car and headed over to my team, and went over to Lindsay, who's my really good friend's girlfriend, and I was talking to her. I was like, that guy just walked over to my car and asked me for he gave me his number. And then she's like, that's good, right? And I was like, kind of, like, but once he finds out about me, he's not going to, he's not going to want to hang out, and that's just what usually happens. And that's okay, because I'm going to tell him up front, I didn't want to say anything right when he walked up to the window, because that's just kind of, I didn't want him to feel embarrassed or awkward in that sense, because he would have been really caught off guard. And not only that, but if I would have told him, then, he wasn't the nicest person, he would just go and tell everybody there. And most people already know about me at softball, because I'm open about it. And I play a lot. So a lot of people already know who I am, and I don't want that extra attention there at softball. I'm just going there to play and have some fun. So, of course, I was just going to plan on telling him once I texted him. So when we were walking back towards our next playoff game, I seen him sitting there next to the tennis courts with his team. And, he was talking to people, like, kind of looking at me. And, I wasn't really looking at him, because I didn't want to have him see that I was paying attention. And I could just see him talking with his friends. And at that point, I kind of figured that somebody told him already. And, and it kind of like, I kind of felt it. And I got my phone, and I was like, all right, I'm going to text him, because I kind of feel like this is happening. So I texted him. I was like, hey, it's Haley. I told you I'd text you. And, just from that point on, I knew he wasn't going to text me back. And that's okay. Like, everybody's different, so it's like, I have this great feeling, but then I have to feel the emotion of not being good enough, of feeling, it's always going to be like that. And it hurts, but I stayed positive. I let the fact that he was saying nice things about me being beautiful, make me smile and feeling good. That's, for the most part, that's the first time a guy has got the nerve to come up to me and talk to me. So it really did, make me feel good and have a different feel. Like, it just made me happy, and so we went into the next game, and we played the team that was pretty much, the number one team there. The team that we got mercied by, the team we were playing actually beat them. So we're like, all right, well, let's see what happens. And it was a really close game. My first at bat, I flied out again. So I was 0 for 7. And I was so frustrated with myself. Luckily, I was playing good defense because I would have been a mess. So I was 0 for 7, and I was coming up for my next at bat. And the guy in the dugout on the other team was like, easy out. And I was like, all right, really? You're going to say easy out? It's so frustrating when guys do that to women, when they kind of degrade them in that sense. They don't understand what that does. Even hearing them say that to my friend Lindsay was getting me upset. I'm very protective of people. So, I was having a bad day hitting, so I was getting really mad. So I was like, at the first pitch, I was like, you know what, dude, I'm tired of this. So, all right, you want to say easy out? So I was like, all right. So I waited on the first pitch. It was a ball. And then the next pitch, I crushed it to left field on a line drive. But unfortunately, it was really windy out in Huntington Beach that day. And it was blowing to right field, so it was holding the balls up. So, it went pretty much all the way to the fence, and the guy caught it. And when I was running to first, he's like, easy out, huh? And then I was getting feisty. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm just tired of people always talking crap to me when I'm playing. Like, I'm like super nice there. I root for everyone. Like, so it gets me upset that people treat me like that. And unfortunately, it's always going to happen. So, and a lot of women on the other teams usually do that when they're sitting on the in the stands. They always say stuff to me when I'm up there. So, I hear it. But for the most part, I always just ignore it. But, I was just getting really frustrated. So I was being really feisty. And my next at bat, I felt very good because I finally, felt like I knew what I was doing wrong. I fixed it and I felt confident. So my next at bat, I hit a line drive to left field and it went 1 for 3. And then the next at bat, I had another hit, which we rallied on to take the lead. So I went 2 for 4. And with 2 good hits. So I was finally playing good. I was finally, really over, my struggles. And we end up winning that game by 1 run on a double play that ended the inning. So I felt really good. We've been struggling in tournaments, but we were 2-1. We won our playoff game. So we went to the finals. And, 3 hours later, we had to wait. So I was like, our game wasn't until 7 o'clock at night, and it was a long day. I was hurting. My back was bothering me. But I was like, we only had 10 players, so nobody could sit. Everybody had to, play every inning, So it was hard, and I was fighting through it. There was times where I was frustrated. So we went into the final game playing the first team we played that we ended up winning. And my first at bat, in the playoffs, I'm usually more patient. I don't like walking at all, but I'm a team player. So I was like, I gotta take this for be conservative, even though that people are talking crap on the bench and the other team and the dugout saying, oh, they're not going to swing, things like that. They say things like that. Unfortunately, people are ruthless. So my first at bat, I end up walking, patience. And my next at bat, this is the same pitcher that I went 0 for 3 for in the first game, and I kept popping it up because he throws it short, and then I reach for it. So, and that's my own fault, instead of taking pitches and just, playing my game and waiting for a good pitch, I was being so, aggressive. So I popped up, and I was frustrated. I don't want to let the team down. So my third at bat, I end up walking again. Like I said, I'm not going to, especially for my team, I'm not going to swing 3-1. I hate not doing that, but, it's for the team. So I end up walking. So I was 0 for 1 with 2 walks, and we had a really bad inning where we gave up 8 runs. So in the going into the bottom or the top of the 7th, I led off, and, I was up to bat, and the first pitch was a ball, and the pitcher's like, do me a favor. These guys are playing shadow. The pitcher on the other team's like, do me a favor. These guys are playing shallow on you. Do me a favor and burn them. I was like, I'll do what I can, and I hear the women behind me talking, no, she's not going to swing this and that. So I was like, all right, I got a pitch, because they're pretty much saying don't swing unless you get a strike. So, being a team player, I took a perfect pitch and I had a strike. So it was 2-2. And the next pitch, he threw me a really good pitch and I lined it to left field, like on a row. It was probably my best hit of the day. And everybody just stopped talking. Like even the dugout, the fans on the other bench did just stop talking. So I was like, yeah, that's right. Like, even though we were losing, like, it felt good because I was tired of people saying things. So yeah, and everybody on the other team was saying, wow, nice hit. And so everybody's pumped up. And then we got another base hit. So we were, really rallying. So it felt good, and we ended up getting out and we ended up losing by 5 runs in the final. So, it was frustrating that we didn't win the tournament, but, things did get better, and I ended up waking up Sunday morning. We were going to visit my grandfather in San Diego, and I didn't even stream Saturday night. I was just exhausted after that long tournament, after being out in the sun all day, after really just having a bad week. I went straight to bed, and I woke up Sunday and I could hardly move from my back and just playing all day. So I was just so depressed. Like, I'm so tired of hurting, but not, but I want to still do the things that make me happy. And it's frustrating. I really feel like my back holds me back from doing so many things. And it's really, it really can get to me. I try not to let it, beat me, but it gets to the point where you're just tired of dealing with it. And so on Sunday, we had a great time visiting my grandfather and having my niece's nephew around and going out to dinner and just hanging out as a family. But between driving down to San Diego and driving back and everything, my back was just so frustrating. And last night, I just felt so depressed when I got home. And, I got emotional. I'm not going to lie. I'm tired of feeling like I'm, always being in pain. And, there's so many things in life that I want, and I'm allowing, the negative things to really take over lately. And it's so frustrating. I tried to be so positive and to, really try to change my life for the better and being successful in something. And I just don't like feeling like I let people down. I don't like feeling like, I don't do nothing. And it's really hurt me, and last night, I was just sitting there and I won't lie, like I was really depressed, but I was, really pushing myself to get on stream, and that's one thing. Streaming really helps me, like being with the people there and that are supportive and just hanging out and having a good time. That really helps me. I love streaming. Like, I love getting to know people from around the world, and just, it makes me feel like, I'm not worthless like I always feel about myself. So, I love doing, streaming. I love, really being there for others and just hanging out and getting to know people. So, and it helped me last night. It really helped me to get back into a rhythm of, focusing on what I want to do in life. There's so many things that, I'm striving for, but when things happen, like with my back, or when I feel like I'm letting my teams down, or, people from my stream and stuff, it really gets to me. I don't like doing that. I don't like feeling like I hurt people, or, so, I'm so sorry. I'm struggling. I apologize. I really try to stay focused and positive for you guys, to bring you these videos, but I also want to be real and share the things in my life that I struggle with. My life is far from perfect. I have so many things that I battle, but, I still push through it. I still try my best to be strong, and not only prove to myself that I'm worth, a happy life, to others, to show that you can be happy and have a good life no matter what you go through. So, I'm always going to continue to strive for these videos. I'm sorry that this is such a long video. I just want to share what's been going on this past week. I've been doing really good with my weight. I lost 8 pounds within a week. Like I said, though, that's probably a little bit too aggressive. I got, really sick on Thursday and Friday, and it really affected me mentally. And just honestly, being weak like that physically is also puts more of a strain on my back. So just everything, has just been really, piling on and really getting to me. So, but I want to share that with you guys. Today, I woke up and I had a really good. I only streamed for a couple hours last night, but it was so important for me to get back on and get back into the routine of being on streaming. Being off for stream for 3 days not only hurts me, but it makes me. It makes it that much easier to just give up, and I never want to do that. I'm going to continue to push for the things that I want. I know that I'm going to have another, in the future, I'm going to have another bad day. I'm going to have another bad week. I'm going to have days where, I get so frustrated with my arthritis and feeling so helpless at times and letting it really affect my happiness and feeling like I can be successful. Things could be so much worse. I have these problems in my life, but, there's so many people around this whole world that struggle, that go through things. And, I can't just give up like that. I can't give up and just, let the things in my life that I struggle with beat me. So, I'm really focused on getting back into my YouTube videos and streaming. I hope to be more consistent, but I say that all the time, actions mean nothing, or words mean nothing without action. So hopefully I can get back on track and continuously make videos for you guys. There's a lot that I want to talk about, and I wanted to include that in this video, but if I would have done that, this video would have been forever, because I can, I can talk forever. So I wanted to share with you guys what's been going on, with me in my life and what I'm going through. I hope all of you have been good, and I hope all of you guys had an amazing weekend with your families. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like. It helps me out. If you want to know more about my life, subscribe. I love you guys, and I will see you guys on the next video.